sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. On the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I
Oh, there we go. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to tdphinstalk, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. Y'all punch that like button on the way in the building because we got some special guests tonight, some heavy hitters in the business. Can't wait to have this conversation. We are gracing the screen tonight to have a little fun. The Miami Dolphins can have a great season if. That's what we're going to be answering tonight. So make sure you punch that like button. Let your friends and family members know about the channel as well, right here on TD Fans Talk, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. Let's get it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to bring our guest on tonight. Listen, man, y'all all know these gentlemen. They represent their own platform called the Blitz Pickup, doing big things, making sure that they provide some of the best Miami Dolphins content. And they love having conversations, man. These guys are live, kicking it, just with day-to-day fans. And that's what it's about. That's what it's always been about. And that's why I love rocking with these two fellas. Shout out to Tony and Lewis. What's up, fellas?
TD, what's good, man?
TD, what's good?
Hey.
Listen, man, the Dolphins are good. That's what's good.
Lord. See, we starting.
That's what's good.
already
good at what? Killing narratives or what they good at? Elaborate on that, TD.
We good at changing the culture, man.
All right, changing it from good to worse.
Hey,
good
listen,
to bad.
I don't know what we changing it to, but what I do know is a new season is on the horizon, and the Miami Dolphins can have a great season if. So let's play the game, man. I want to bounce back between y'all two and talk about it. Let's start out with Tony, man. The Miami Dolphins can have a great season if
we all come together as a collective and pray. That's the best we got.
Hey, Tone, I like what you did there with the collective, right?
As a collective,
I like what you did there with the collective.
See what I'm talking about?
No, y'all ain't finna get me in trouble.
It seems like that's the only way we could get something positive going if we come together as a collective. But no, all trolling aside, I will be 100, right? And this is a rare occasion. This might not happen, so y'all don't get your hopes up. But there's the main issue, and we all know, I hate to have to say it, it's going to always come back to a tongue of a Lord, right? The main issue is if we get consistent, not one game here, not, he do good against Buffalo. Shout out to TD, you always point this out, that he does good against Buffalo because he has so many opportunities. right? At some point, you get used to the defensive scheme. At some point, you get used to that. We always beat the Patriots all the time as well when they had Tom Brady. So the divisional games, let's get rid of that, right? He needs to be consistent in the big time games. I'm not talking about only at the end of the season. I'm not talking about divisional foes. I'm talking about the plus 500 team, the team that we are going to see in the playoffs, right? Also, if our offensive line stay healthy, because regardless of what, we really don't have offensive line problems when it comes to our starter for the most part. Now, this season, I'm not as confident as past seasons because let's not forget you got a rookie playing guard, right? You got a second year player at tackle. We see he was. Oh, I know TD said he was doing terrible, but I say he was serviceable in the short stint that he had as a starter. So for people to have confidence that this offensive line is all of a sudden improved, I want to put out a disclaimer. Let's not crown them before we see what they do on the field, because Patrick Paul is not a sure hit. Jonas Savaianai is not a sure hit. And then you got Austin Jackson and James Daniels coming off injuries. Like, can we be 100? We got to be realistic now when we start talking about how we can be successful. Let's not forget these things and just be blind fans. So that offensive line has to stay healthy. Tua has to be consistent. And I'm talking about consistently good. So those shootout games, right? Those shootout games, he needs to be consistent and always have the shootout games. Because let me get Washington, that might be a shootout. Baltimore Ravens, that might be a shootout. Cincinnati Bengals, that might be a shootout. You understand? Maybe even the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I'm just talking about the team that's coming here at Hard Rock, where he should perform well. Those going to be shootout games. If y'all expecting our defense to hold those teams down, and I ain't mentioned Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, right? I'm just talking about the teams outside of the division that has potent offensives that we can't expect our defense to be at on an A game, and we probably gonna need more offense from our offensive side of the ball. So yes, he has to be consistent in those games. Our offensive line has to be healthy, and I think our running backs needs to be, our run game needs to be potent, because we do have a young secondary. Give them some opportunity to get acclimated to the game. If you play more of a ball control offense, right, you don't put too much pressure on the defense, right, and don't get them an opportunity to get behind early, and then you know how it can get. Like we know the first year of the Cater Kohus, we know the first year of the Noah Iguanati. If they have bad games at the beginning of the season, it's not so easy to come back from that because you're on the island by yourself. That's the thing about DBs. You have to have a short-term memory, just like quarterbacks. But unlike the quarterback, there are safe things that you could do for a quarterback. You could throw little quick screens. You could go to the running game. At cornerback, you're on the island regardless of what. You might have safety help, but look at our safeties. First year in this defense. So we have to be more realistic. So I think our offense should be the number one unit on this team, at least until the first half of the season. And that's how we'll have a successful season, a great season.
They have to. What about you, Lou? The Miami Dolphins can have a great season if...
Now you see, TD, now you see what I got to work with Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday. The man Tony came out and said he was going to keep it 100, right? TD, yes, you asked the question. The Dolphins can have a successful season if... Well, I'm going to give you the
great season. Great season.
Oh, okay. If Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, CJ Stroud, if all them go down, the Miami Dolphins can have a great season.
Oh my God.
See what we're talking about here is, again,
we got two. We got our own.
Now you see what I got to deal with.
Listen, fool me once, shame on me. I think that's shame on you. Fool me twice, right? The fact of the matter is, bro, we know what this season's going to look like. The Dolphins are going to be. They might have a game we all think they're going to lose. They might lose out. When I think about successful seasons, though, it's the fact that when it's playoff time, that's success, right? We're not talking about regular season. And I'm sorry, bro, if anybody in this fan base thinks that the Miami Dolphins can make any noise in the playoff, because I don't think TD, I don't think you or Tony believes we're going to win the division. So that means our playoff season would start on the road. Is this Dolphin team going into Baltimore winning?
If they do everything I said, yes.
I mean, they could be Baltimore. I mean, Tua's done it.
If they do everything I said, Louis, yes. You confusing the question with what's going to happen. He said the Dolphins can. Look at the Dolphins. It said can have a great season.
And again,
not
I told you,
or win.
Tone, but I'm telling you, they can if all that other stuff on the opposite teams happen. It's not what the Dolphins can do, right? We've seen the Dolphins hold a high-powered offense at home against Buffalo, Week 18, division on the line in 2023. We've seen that defense show up and hold them to 14 points. The problem is we only scored 14 points, right?
Yeah,
we've seen all these things happen. It just, for some reason, some way, shape, or form, the Dolphins they can't get out of their own way. I'm sorry, bro. I don't see a way for us to have a successful season because I think that comes with playoff success. And I don't believe the Dolphins are having playoff success, TD.
Well, some people will argue, though. Okay, they'll argue, and they may have a point. I don't know. You tell me, but they'll say,
somebody block up though.
We were great. We were great in 2023. I mean, we did a great job. So why can't we get back there?
We was on the verge of doing great. We weren't great. We had a great opportunity. We was in a great position to be great. We
had a great season though.
Well, it would have been great if we would have got at least one out of the last two. I think it would have been a different outcome. But you don't lose both games down the stretch, especially the way you lose at home with the division.
Yeah, but it was the first year in that system.
That was second year.
No, 2023.
Yeah, remember 2022 was the first year in the system.
2022, 2023 season.
Yeah, no, 2022 is the year that, remember, he got injured in Cincinnati for. 2023 is the year that he played full season healthy. And we
went on. That was the best offense.
Right, but you said that was the first year in that system. No, it was the second year. Remember, 2022 was the first year in that season. That's when he got injured. First, it was the little phantom back injury in Buffalo, week 3, when the only victory we got over Buffalo.
No, McDaniel only been here 2 years.
No,
yes.
TD,
I mean 3 years. He only been here 3 years.
Yes, 22, 23, and 24. You leaving out 22. See, why you always forget about 2022?
Yeah, 22, 23, and 24.
That's the year we beat Buffalo. I was there.
We went off though that year, didn't we?
No, not necessarily. Not 2022. Remember, because he got injured in Cincinnati. And then he got injured again against Green Bay and missed the last 3 games.
What was Tua's best season? That was McDaniel's first year.
No, that was his second year.
That was his second year. TD, go look it up. It was his second year. Trust me, bro. I won't steer you wrong. It was his second year.
Remember, because in 2022, Tua got hurt. We were 3-0 going into
H-Chan was on the team. TD.
Right. Remember,
H-Chan here 2022.
When did we score 70 versus Denver?
In 2023. His second year.
Yeah, his second year.
Don't forget hold on real quick, Tone. In 2022, remember, the Dolphins week 2 beat Baltimore. That was the 4-touchdown comeback.
The comeback.
And then we went home week 3. We played Buffalo. We beat Buffalo. And then that Thursday night, we played Cincinnati week 4, and that's when the first original concussion happened.
Mm-hmm.
That was Mike McDaniel's first season in 22. Then in 23, we went.
That was remember he went in the off season with the jiu-jitsu and judo, learn how to tuck and roll.
So he stayed healthy in 23-24.
Yes, that's the season he stayed healthy. Yeah.
So what was his best year?
23.
That's when he led. In 23 is when Tua, remember, he led the league in passing with 4,700 yards.
4,600.
46 and some change, right? It was like 20 yards away from 4,700. Led the league in passing. And remember, that was after the 23 season. That's when the contract came up for Tua, and everybody was like, well, he stayed healthy. He led the league in passing. Let's give him the contract. And that was coming into the season that just passed.
Remember, that season that's when he said, this is my first year having the same offensive system and offensive coordinator 2 years in a row. That was his first season coming from the 2022-2023 season. And that's why we was all hopeful that it would be his best season. And then he eventually had his best season. That's the year of the collapse. at the end of the season when we were supposed to win a division. You know, I think you forget. You remember the Christmas game was under Mike McDaniel, because Mike McDaniel was saying he had the interview with him and he asked him and he didn't remember the play when he threw the interception in the end zone. That was the first season, 2022-23 season. That was his best season was 23-24. And then last season was his Mike McDaniel's third season, right? Mike McDaniel's going in his fourth season as a coach.
Yeah, I know that. Interesting. So we
that
do
was
it.
Chase. Remember, we had Chase Edmonds that year, and we paid to Chase Edmonds. Yeah.
We did it 23-24,
and Gesicki,
and they were still young in the system. Who's to say we can't improve though?
Offensively or defense? What you mean, like
offensively? We know the defense. They toast.
I mean, consider the fact what we started with at the beginning of the season. Our offensive line was always good beginning of the season. You remember the first 2022 year, we had the Robert Hunts, the Austin Jackson, we had Connor Williams, Isaiah Wynn, and Teron Armstead. And then a year after that, we had Armstead, Robert Jones actually played good that season. Connor Williams again. Not Connor, I'm sorry. Connor Williams twice. We had Connor Williams twice. Then we had Robert Hunt and Austin Jackson again. So we came in them 2 seasons with a good start in offensive line. This year, the offensive line is very questionable, right? So you had at least a serviceable offensive line, and then you had a team that had Vic Fangio for the second year, and the first year he had what's his name? Josh Boyer. Josh Boyer coming back from that defense under Brian Flores. So it was some familiarity right there. And then we already know what Vic Fangio did in 2023. You know what I'm saying? He held even a team that was decimated with injuries. They was playing lights out with a top 10 defense. This year, with all them young players, we don't know what Anthony Weaver could do with the secondary. We don't understand how Zach Sealer is going to look outside. We got a rookie at D tackle. Like, we was kind of set in a lot of key positions starting the season, and then we had rookies that had an opportunity to grow and gain some awareness and gain some experience and just follow along. This year, we're dependent on more rookies than we ever have under the Mike McDaniel regime. So we can't expect the start that as we've been used to. Go ahead.
But that's a problem, especially in the year where I feel like they're on the hot seat. They got to perform. They actually have to win games. Do y'all see this team reaching 10 wins this year?
I don't. I had them at 9-8.
Yeah, I have them at 9-8 as well. That's just realistically speaking. They could surprise us, but if you want to take the ifs and win what ifs, honestly, if you go down the schedule, you're gonna be honest. What can you expect from having a young offensive line? The secondary is, I think, what you're gonna have 4 completely different starters in the secondary. At the linebacker, we got 1 returning linebacker. 2 because Dawson came middle of the season. D tackles, what you got? You got Zach Sealer, Jalen Phillips, and Chubb and Bradley Chubb, both coming off injuries, and then you got a rookie, Grant. So Kenny Grant. So what can we have to be realistic? Like, we thinking they're just gonna hit the ground running. That's not how the NFL works. Now, defense, it tend to get acclimated to the game quicker than the offense, right? But realistically, we have to rely on an offense that the biggest question on offense is offensive line. And I can't be I got to be realistic and say I don't see that offensive line being better than what we had the previous 2 years.
That's the problem, though, Tone. When I hear people say the biggest problem on this team is the offensive line, no, the biggest problem on offense is the quarterback. It is, bro. We got to stop sugarcoating.
Well, hold on. Like, when it comes to experience, I'm speaking on experience.
Well, even with experience, what has experience got us? Remember the notion of when people told us, well, Tua ever since college has never had the same OC. Well, he's had the same one for 4 years, and for the first 3 of them, it was been the same. What makes me think that year 5 is going to be different than years 4, 3, 2, and 1? You see what I'm saying? Like, at some point, we have to realize what Tua is. Right, I'm gonna be honest with you, Tone and TD. I think the defense is going to be fine. Right, when I hear a lot of people always talk about the secondary. Well, I'm just saying, Tone. Right, we've had these conversations. when people say, well, the secondary is the worst in the league, cool. Last year, they were one of the worst secondaries in the league. You see what I'm saying? It's not that big of a drop-off. I think people, and TD, you know how this works. They look at the Jalen Ramsey, oh my God, what are we going to do without him? Okay, the question I would pose is, what have we done with him?
That's a fact.
Right? If you tell me Jalen Ramsey has been worse than it was, and I'm not talking about the trade compensation, you giving up Hunter Long in a third-round pick for Jalen Ramsey, I would say Miami won the trade. But then also, Miami made him the highest-paid corner in the league. Has he given you highest-paid corner production?
We always do that.
Nope, at all.
And that's the problem.
We don't judge him on the production he give us for our team. We judge him on his name, Ramsey, and what he did with the Rams and the Jaguars.
Yep.
Can't do that, bro. I don't understand why people do that.
I just don't like a lot of the aspects of what's going on with the team. We all know the narratives, right? This team is soft. There's a culture problem, this, that, and the third. There's just hypocrisy in the way they've moved. Chris Greer comes out and says, we're looking for a trade possibility with Jalen Ramsey. Right? All right, cool. The head coach.
And Jonnu.
There's problems. And Jonnu, right? TD? The head coach comes out and says, I don't want to talk about Jalen Ramsey. He's not really going to be part of this, that, and the third. He's trying to avoid it. A week ago, we had Tyreek Hill come out and say, I'm going to try my best to get Jalen Ramsey back. I heard you were on the collective TD, and you asked a great question. Let's say they did try to end the fences and bring Jalen Ramsey back. You're trying to change the culture. But we know, and we've all heard reports and rumors, that Jalen Ramsey was one of the issues with culture. One of the issues, TD, right? Well, if you're trying to change something, why would you want to bring a problem back in the building? It's contradictions, everything this team talks about. You see what I'm saying? Like, how can I trust this team when at every step they give me reasons not to trust them?
Yeah, I think that they backed themselves up against a wall. My theory, nobody knows the real answer, because the real question is, do they have assurances going into next season after this season, regardless of what happens? I don't think they do.
You speaking from the front office standpoint?
Yeah, because like he said, everything is contradictory. It's not making any sense. And I think my theory of it all is, they just they closed the checkbook on them, said, hey, this is your team. You built it this way. This is the fallout of the contracts you convinced us to give. So you got to deal with it, you and Greer. And I think that's Shore, or one of them guys up in there, saying, we're not giving any more long-term deals. We don't want to extend Jonnu. We don't want to extend Zeeler. I mean, they're good players, but we'll let the next coach and GM figure that out. And now if y'all want to be the next coach and GM, win with what you got.
But do it seem like they're moving as if they don't have assurances after the season? It seems like they're comfortable. And
no. I don't think they seem like they're comfortable. I feel like they seem like they're handcuffed, because they can't if they were comfortable, Jonnu would have his extension. Zeeler will have his extension.
I don't know. Zach Sealer might be you might help me with that, but Jonnu and Ramsey, and I don't know, bro.
But if they were comfortable, they wouldn't be worrying about it. They wouldn't be worrying about negotiating contracts and stuff. They'll just give them their money like they gave everybody else.
No, not necessarily. I think they're thinking about the future there and saying we're not going to overpay people like we did last time, because we want to have the opportunity to start over, and we don't want to have to take 2 to 3 years. So why not start now while we do have some assurances after this season, and let's get out ahead of things. One thing that they can never do is get out ahead of player contracts and get out ahead and look it looked like Brandon Sure can. Brandon Sure looked like he could have a forecast and foresee the future, but the rest of them looked like they didn't understand where the man was coming from. Now, what did he say? Remember what he said? Financially, we're going to start making more decisions financially smart for the team. That's what he said.
Yeah, so, I get it, but I mean, you put yourself in this corner. I don't think they're going to be here after this year.
You don't think so? Or you hope not? That's the difference.
I'm not in the game of hoping not, because I haven't seen McDaniel without Tua to
Right.
judge him properly. Now, I do hold it against McDaniel for endorsing him, but what do I expect him to do?
That's what his excuse leave with me. The excuse is out the door. Once you endorse them, right?
Yeah,
With
so-
all signs led to the safe route and the smart route is fifth-year option.
McDaniel's the type of person that needs an elite quarterback to get attention off of him when things get rough, because the quarterback's going to carry you and you're going to maintain your geniusness. That's what McDaniel's is. McDaniels with Josh Allen would be the same McDaniels, but you wouldn't know because Josh Allen would be making him look good.
Well, hold on. Will Josh Allen make him look good, or will Josh Allen execute when it's time to in the clutch?
Yes, but making him still look good, because at the end of the day, the great coaches get paid to make these subpar players play at a high level whenever it matters most.
And I mean, he did. I think he did as best as he. I don't think anyone else could do better with Tua than what Mike McDaniel did. I think he got everything out of Tua that you can and that you can ask for. At some point, I think his failure is understanding that's his ceiling. There's no more room for improvement there. I think that's what he failed.
Does Tua have more in him?
Do you believe so?
No.
I think you should. I don't think.
In 2023, in 2023, I believe Tua was hitting his head on the ceiling. You're not going to get better from Tua. Listen, you got basically 4,700 yards. We all know he threw for 29 touchdowns. There was a couple drop touchdowns. Let's give him 32, 33 on the season. I mean, realistically, that is for Tua, 4,700 yards and 33 touchdowns. That's as good as it gets. Like the people that hope that Tua's going to be this 5,000-yard passer and 45 touchdowns plus. That's not.
Oh, so you're not buying the Drew Brees comparisons, Lou?
Tua ain't
with the Drew Brees comparison.
Well, Lou, we go way back, Lou. We go way back.
Sorry to hear that, TD.
I've been saying this for years, man.
Absolutely, bro. You've been
I've been
on.
saying good enough not to be good enough. I've been saying this for years, trying to speak to the masses. And you know what? And I was wrong in the sense of saying that he's mid. I think he's good, but not good enough. He's like, he could get some stats, he can put up some numbers, he can do his job, win games if the team is good, but he ain't doing no carrying. No carrying. And if you get carrying, it's the one out of every 10 times you need him to. I mean, I done seen Zach Wilson carry before. It's a rare occasion. You know what? Guess what quarterback in the AFC East has the most wins against Josh Allen?
Come on, it's the defense. Don't say quarterback. We're not doing it. Come on.
That's Zach Wilson.
So now quarterbacks.
Our backup quarterback has more wins against Buffalo than our starter. That's crazy.
You see, I always got to be the voice of reason. I don't even like defending.
It ain't like he was it ain't like he was a 5-year starter.
Yeah, it was the second year. Well, first and second year. I'm sorry. Yeah.
That's where the
I'm saying two of them played him like 8 times.
Oh, you talking about Tua? No, You know what? See, now that's Tua's downfall, but that don't mean we're gonna prop Zach Wilson up.
What I'm saying is Buffalo killer. No. But go watch Zach Wilson in those Buffalo games.
He doesn't cost him the games.
Yeah. Did you forget when Aaron Rodgers? No. That was the Jets. Do you forget whenever they were dueling it out, some of the big plays?
That was Zach Wilson against the Jets. You right. When Aaron Rodgers to it.
That too, but I was more so talking about Buffalo.
Oh.
So
but he beat Buffalo. That was the Buffalo.
He beat Buffalo.
Yeah, he beat Buffalo. Yeah. Opening game.
Buffalo.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
You was there, weren't you, Don Teddy?
Yeah, I was there. You're right.
And that's the problem right there. Because when you tell Dolphin fans that Zach Wilson beat the Jets twice, you know what they throw at you?
Buffalo Bills.
Well, look at his stats, right? Look at Zach Wilson. He didn't do nothing. He was carried in those
plays
games
when it mattered most.
TD, well, me and you know that, right? Others will say that. I'm talking about Dolphin fans that will play it down and be like, well, look at his numbers. He barely did nothing. He got carried. But then if you tell, well, look at Tua's numbers when he started against the Rams. They won't say he got carried, though, right?
Nope.
Oh, look at the throw Tua made. Look at the drive Tua had. But they won't say that for Zach Wilson, right? I'm just talking about the hypocrisy, bro. I don't care how it gets done. Just do it. And I'm sorry to tell everybody again. Tua's not it, bro. He's not.
Bro, here we are in year 5. I remember I used to argue with people in year 2, like to the death about this. Here we are in year 5, and we still haven't gotten in.
Year
people,
6, TD, you give them out.
Year 6, you're right. And here we are in year 6 arguing with people that still want to believe that he can. And it's like crazy to me. It's like, are we not? You know what it is? They used to say that people like me were the toxic ones. I'm the negative toxic one. You're the problem in the community. But here we are going into year 6.
TD.
And no, at some point, you're toxic. We even believe in this. Like, oh my gosh, y'all don't even understand everything I done been through in 5 years.
Maya Angelou says, when people show you who they are, believe them. I don't know why people fail to believe what this man's showing you. Like, at this point, if us as fans, if you want what's best for the franchise, if you don't have the approach as like how I have, saying they have to show me before I even give them any credit. I'm not going out there and being hopeful at the beginning of the season, knowing what I've got for 6 years. Now, if you want to take away the Brian Flores, I will let you take away the Brian Flores years, right? So 3 years. You saw what you have in this guy for 3 years. If you don't say, I got to take the wait and see approach, I don't understand. I can't
but I
wrap my head around that.
I allowed that, Tony. That's where the phrase comes from. That's in the community. Time will tell.
That's a fact.
I allowed that. But how much time before we tell?
My time was up. My time was up my time was up right before the 5th year option. Listen. You talk about. I'm new. I'm fairly new to this, right? But I was out there. Am I right, Lou? Let me talk to this guy over here. Let me point this. I was the only one because there was a guy somewhere on this panel that would disagree with me when I said I think the best course of action is to have Tua play on the 5th year option. It would benefit the team and it would benefit Tua. It would give Tua the opportunity to show that he can stay healthy for 2 years and he could be consistent. You can see what you have in him, right? And if he shows off, cool. Now you justify with paying him at least more than what he gave you. And if he don't, you dodge the bullet. On to the next quarterback. Mike McDaniel had no excuse. You give him an opportunity to handpick his quarterback. And then we see what we got in Mike McDaniel. At this point, TD, you said it earlier, I haven't seen Mike McDaniel without Tua. And I know for people like me, I would love to have seen him with a different quarterback, right? To see what he really have.
And you can still do that, though.
Unfortunately for me, Lou, when he went up there and advocated for Tua to get paid, I think he chose his quarterback then. And I just can't give him an excuse for that.
And that's fine. And if that's the case, we fire him. Cool.
Yep,
I get that
agree.
point.
I agree.
All I'm saying, though, is if you can look past that, right, I think this offense works. I think with the way, look at on most plays, we just look on opposite sides of the fields. I think when we break down film and we're watching the game, we're just looking at where the ball is going. A lot of the time, there's a tight end running up the seam wide open. Yep, on the other side of the field, there's an in-breaking route that's wide open or a go route that's wide open.
I can't wait till you get the Mike Best coming. My bad.
And Tua's not even looking that way, right? All I'm saying is if you put Joe Burrow or a quarterback like that in this system under Mike McDaniel, I would love to see that. See, I know where Tony stands at. He can't get over the fact that he vouched for Tua. And if that's the case, I have no argument. Then fire him. In my scenario, though, I would much rather – but see, for me, I believe more in Mike McDaniel than I do in Tua. I'm willing to look past that because I would love to see Mike McDaniel with a guy that can give you best of both worlds, right? He could play the on-script game, timing, rhythm. He could play that way, but he can also do certain things that Tua just cannot. Play off-script. If anything breaks down, they can make a play for you. I think Mike McDaniel would be dynamic, bro. I'm sorry. I know he has flaws. No man is perfect. But in 3 years, this was the, and TD, you can vouch for this. When Brian Flores was here, I used to make the argument for Brian Flores. We knew what we got when we hired him. Defensive-minded head coach, discipline. In my opinion, he did his job. Mike McDaniel, offensive guy, happy-go-lucky, team guy, whatever, right? Offensive guy, though. Year 1, top 6 offense. Year 2, number 1 overall offense in the league. I'm sorry, bro. I think he's done his job. People just, well, why didn't he run the ball on 3rd and 1 or that's feelings based. All I'm saying is, bro, I would love to see Mike McDaniel with a legitimate guy under center, because I think this team could take off with a guy like that. I'm sorry, under Mike McDaniel.
I think, and then TD, you're gonna see what me and Lewis disagree with. See that part right there, he done his job. See, Lou, if he was brought here just to be an offensive coordinator, I would say, yeah, he done his job. Unfortunately, he was brought here to be the head coach, and player evaluation is part of being a head coach.
Yep.
So you take I have to give you the criticism for not understanding what you have in Tua, or at least not understanding that I don't know what I have in him yet. So I would have to take the safe route and say he's already on the contract. Baltimore Ravens just did it the year before.
Now, let me just stop you real quick right there, right? Again. You going with Tua? Fine.
I'm not going with Tua. I'm going with Mike McDaniel doing his job.
And when you brought up evaluating talent, right? But when you brought up evaluating talent, you brought up just Tua.
No. That's why I started.
Oh, okay. Well, are you going to name all the players? Because now, Tone, TD, I don't know if you know, me and Tone have this big argument all the time about Devon Achane, right?
Yeah. Talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Do you like the evaluation Mike McDaniel had with Devon Achane, Tone?
Yeah,
are you going to give him credit for that?
I am.
See what I'm saying?
I am going to give him credit. I'm going to tell you the difference between my argument and your argument. You said he did his job, and you was only pertaining to how he still schemed people open. And when we put on the field, you see people open in this tour, the one that's not executing. That's fine. And I say you 100% truthful on that one. You're correct. I can see the argument. Where you lose me at is you stop there and say he's done his job. No, because his job doesn't stop there. You leave out the fact that he has to understand that Tua is not your only responsibility. This offensive line is your responsibility. You know what? The defense is also his responsibility. The people that you bring in on your coaching staff is also your responsibility. The way you handle player injuries is your responsibility. The person that you have telling you to throw them red flags that you are terrible at is your responsibility. I'm sorry. We cannot leave all that stuff out when it comes to evaluate. Hold on, Lou. As a head coach, you evaluate him as getting the most out of Tua. It don't stop there.
And you're absolutely right. No, I'm not stopping at Tua. What I'm saying is, listen to what you just said, right? Take all the evaluation. Okay. His guy that he brought in as defensive coordinator had a top 10 defense. You know what they like to do, Tone and TD? They talk about stats, numbers, EPAs, pie charts, and all the other stuff. Well, when I look at the numbers, Vic Fangio had a top 10 defense. Who brought him in? Mike McDaniel, correct?
Yeah, and let him walk out the door. Let him walk out the door compared with disgruntled.
Perfect. He let him walk out the door. The next guy he brought in, statistically now, right, was a top 10 defense. Anthony
Against Cupcakes.
I don't care. I don't know nothing about that. All I know.
If I tell you that about the offense, you're gonna be like, look at him against the plus 500 team. Let's look at the defense too.
Tone, were we talking about evaluating? What I'm saying is he's brought in 2 defensive coordinators that has put out on the field top 10 units.
That's a fact.
Right? He's overseeing that. All I'm saying is, can we give
hold on. Back up, but even before him, we had defenses with top units.
Okay, so
but that was
what's the debate?
Call. So you would critique Brian Flores on his offensive production.
Yeah, I don't like it's.
I'm critiquing everything, TD. Overall, the whole team. The failures of the special team. Did you hold on? See, this is what I be talking about, right? Y'all forgot the excuse he came up when the defense gave up the punt return and they jumped off sides to cost us the defensive first down and gave him. Well, you know what he said? Oh, I think that's the result of players playing hard. What? So you gonna give an excuse for a dude doing an inexcusable thing? Last time I checked, that's mental. That's not talent. That ain't have nothing to do with how you would build your speed, nothing. That's mental. That is coaching there, right? And even if he don't, right, when you see that, you don't come out and make an excuse for that. You come out and say that's inexcusable.
1,000%
every day. That's what I'm saying.
1,000%. And again, that's fine. So let's just fire him. All I'm saying is though, again, bro, I played the game with whoever. You can fire him. What I'm saying is, right? Let's go down the list of coaches that might be available. I hear a lot of John Gruden. John Gruden, as many years as he's coached in this league, he won a Super Bowl with someone else's team. Because I live down here in Tampa. That was Tony Dungy's team.
That was.
He's never been able to put nobody together. He's never.
That's cap because the team he beat was his. That wasn't Bill Callahan team. That was John Gruden. So don't say he ain't put a team together. He didn't put a Super Bowl team together, but he did put a good team together. We're not doing that.
And that is fine. What I'm saying is, over John Gruden's career, show me the quarterback where he developed.
No, you got me on that. I will.
I know I do. I know I do because I'm a pro at this. What I'm saying is, right? Let's say Mike Tomlin doesn't make it out of Pittsburgh, right? Cool. I love Mike Tomlin. I would never be out here bashing Mike Tomlin. But if we want to talk facts, right? The man hasn't won a playoff game in 9 years. Show me the quarterback where he's drafted or developed. I'll wait.
Man got Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow. Come on, man. You can't. It's not the same, bro. The competition over in the AFC North is just not the same, bro. You know what? Mike Tomlin coached the Dolphins team. He win playoff games with the Dolphins team in the AFC East.
Well, again, Tone, do we not have a boogeyman in the AFC East?
He ain't Mike Tomlin boogeyman, because Mike Tomlin built a team that don't have boogeymans.
Well, every time Josh Allen plays Pittsburgh, it's the boogeyman when he sees them over there.
Well, real quick, answer the question. McDaniel's record against winning teams is horrible. Do you think that'll improve at all this year?
With a worse roster. Don't need that. With a worse roster.
No, it's not going to improve. But again, bro, that's why the conversations always go back to Tua. Tua's really the one holding this team back.
I do agree with you on that part.
That's what I'm saying. For all the failures that Mike McDaniel has, I get it. Put Lamar Jackson in this Dolphin team. Does he have failures now? He just told you.
Man,
are we talking about Mike McDaniel's?
No, because it would be Brian Flores coaching the team. So don't forget that part.
Hey,
it won't even be Mike McDaniel, and we'll be well off.
If you put Joe Burrow in this offense, you're talking about Mike McDaniel's flaws?
Yeah. No, we're not.
If you put Matt Stafford, if you put Josh Allen, if you put C.J. Stroud, if you put Jaden Daniels, are you talking about Mike McDaniel's flaws? You see how coaches get. Mike McDaniel catches strays for the players that play in between those white lines, not executing their job.
It's no longer a stray when you choose him, Lou. You see how you be doing so well. I'd be like, I agree with you. You got it right on point. Keep going, Lou. And then you say he catches strays. Like he ain't choose Tua. Like that's part of your job as a coach, Lou. To evaluate your players and say he ain't. You know what? Brian Flores did it. And they got him out the building, but he knew this ain't it, Chief.
And that's fine. Again, if you can't never get over the fact that Mike McDaniel chose Tua, then I'm with everybody.
I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna never get over the fact, but I'm never gonna let you say that he's not responsible for him still being in the building. He has to take that responsibility. I'm holding everyone accountable. Ain't that what we say on the Blitz Pickup? And absolutely. I'm not leaving out anything. It's like you want me to blindly say, you know what? Tone, because he made a bad decision, but let's skip over that. Nope, because every time Tua is on his field, I'm reminded of the bad decision that he made. Now, when he's out the building, they're not going to forget about it. But he's still here.
Okay, and I told y'all one of the last times we were together, I told y'all I believe this is the last season for Tua Tagovailoa. I believe they're moving off. See, Tone, I'm old enough to remember
how much longer we need to evaluate Tua, but he's gonna get Mike McDaniel all the credit.
Tone, I remember sometime. Hey, Tone, I remember when I was younger, right? I went to a school to where if you were bad in class or whatever, the teacher would walk by and hit your hand with the ruler. They didn't throw me out the school though. You're talking with Mike McDaniel. He made one flaw. He vouched for Tua, so now we just got to fire him and get him.
So, Lou, you see, I like that analogy, Lou. That was nice and cute. Go ahead, finish. Let me let you finish that analogy.
No, I'm just saying, bro, we got it. Again, a person like me, all I'm saying is I'm willing to see. Because I'm going to be honest, TD, Tone, I believe when you hear people talk, and all the people that want Mike McDaniel out of here, they believe if Mike McDaniel goes, and again, this is just my theory, right? They believe if Mike McDaniel goes, he's tied to Tua, and Tua goes with him. In my scenario, I don't believe that. I think if you get rid of Tua, but you keep Mike McDaniel, right? I think that's where you see so many people, oh, I want Mike McDaniel out here, because they think if Mike goes, Tua goes. And all I'm proposing is, if you're the Dolphins, take a chance on Mike McDaniel, right? And get rid of Tua. And then if he fails, hey, cool. It is what it is.
Hey, TD, you see how he made that little cute analogy? Oh, they slapped me on the wrist with your hand if you be bad at school. But you know what? If you bring a gun to school and rob somebody, you getting expelled. You ain't getting a slap on the wrist. And that's what Tua did. He highway robbed us. Now, he ain't had a gun, but he robbed us. And that's punishable about expelled. Being expelled. Get him out of here.
I'll say this. Lou, I see your point, but that's also dangerous, bro.
Exactly. Just like bringing a gun to school and robbing.
Because, no, but like, okay, get rid of Tua, keep McDaniel. It's dangerous in this sense. When you bring your next quarterback in, can McDaniel, like, you know how we say go get a new quarterback, and everybody says, well, it's not that easy to find. It's going to be hard to find. It may take a few quarterbacks. The next one might not even be it, but that could be the end of McDaniel anyway. Like, for me, if you couldn't make it work with Tua, I don't want you with my next quarterback either, even if they are a stud, even if they are elite. Because we need great coaches. Great coaches will turn. We need you to turn Tua into Breeze. I don't think he ever will be, but that's what we need, and I don't think that McDaniel can do that.
Can I ask a fair question? Based on Mike McDaniel's history, what has he shown us to tell us that he knows how to evaluate quarterbacks?
Let me tell you something. Mike McDaniel is a run game coordinator.
Look at the backup quarterback.
He made his name, and that's where his expertise was in. He's been known to be very creative in offensive scheme, quote unquote, but he is a run game coordinator. That's why he knows how to pick running backs.
Yeah, but is it a fair question to say we're not sure if he know how to evaluate quarterbacks the correct way based on the backups he bought in? Yeah, I say the only decision that I was cool with is when he bought in what's the one that got injured this first season? Teddy Bridgewater. That's the only one I say, you know what, I like that decision. All the rest of them, the Mike Whites, the drafting of Skylar Thompson, and now who we had last year, bringing in Tyler Huntley, which was late. The other dude from the Jets, what his name was? I forgot his name. The other one for the Jets, the bad. He was really bad. The one that came in after Skylar Thompson got injured in Seattle. He was from the Jets as well. Well, anyways, his decision making based on the backup quarterbacks hasn't been the best either. Now, I'm not saying, right, because your options are not that plentiful when it comes to backup quarterbacks, but the ones he chose, they were terrible for the most part. So I'm not 100%. Boyle, David, think of Tim Boyle. That's his name. I'm not 100% sold on his ability to choose the right quarterback. Now, that's a fair assessment. Would I like to see him get an opportunity? I would have before he gave Tua that contract or he advocated for him. But I'm still not, looking at what he's chosen, what he brought in. I'm not like, you know what? I know for a fact he's going to get an opportunity. He's going to pick the right quarterback, and we're going to be off to the races. So there's still questions there as well. So I'm not too big on giving him a pass. I'm just not.
So Tone and TD, let me ask you a question. Would y'all fire Mike McDaniel?
Right now, no.
He's going to be given a chance this year. Make something out of nothing. And if you can't, you're going.
Okay, so let me ask you this, Tone and TD. What does Mike McDaniel have to do? Because, TD, you posed a question on the start of the show. What is a successful season for the Miami Dolphins? What is a successful season for Mike McDaniel?
Winning 8 to 9 games with a backup quarterback.
Playoffs.
Well, if Tua go down and he win 8 to 9 games,
just making the play.
Nope.
Just
No,
making the
playoffs is
TD?
not good enough for me.
You
That
gotta
means he
win.
has his starter.
You got to win it. You got to win a playoff game.
If we don't make
You
an
gotta win a
AFC
playoff
championship game, I'm not sold on it.
You got to
I'm
win
not.
a playoff game.
Because if we let's say we do make the playoffs and he finally win a wild card game and we get booted out in a divisional game, it's too late for that. You should that trajectory was after year one. Now we on to your trajectory don't stop because you failed. No. I need to see you still elevate at the level that I expected you to be after year 3. Remember, he going into year 4 now. It's supposed to be championship games or Super Bowl.
Real quick, right? Because I want to do this exercise.
Mm-hmm.
TD said Mike McDaniel saves his job with a playoff win.
Mm-hmm.
Tone says AFC championship game or bust. Okay. To TD's scenario, though, let's start with TD's. In 2023, when we made the playoffs, but we lost to Buffalo and we had to go to Kansas City and Buffalo played Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
They had Mason Rudolph as their starting in Pittsburgh and TJ Watt was not playing, right? So in this scenario, the Dolphins play a team like that in round 1 and they win. But now in the divisional round, they get Baltimore and they get boat race 43-13. Then what? Does he save his job?
Then you get fired.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying? We're always going to move the goalposts.
I didn't. Mine is AFC championship. Go to my scenario.
It started off with a playoff win. He got that now, but he gets boat raced in week 2 in the divisional round, and now he's up out of here. You see what I'm saying?
No. My bad. No, I mean, you win a playoff game with this team, then we're good. In my opinion, we're good. Let's move forward.
With Tua?
Well, how did he play? I mean, was he even the quarterback that won it with you?
With the backup quarterback is what you're saying. That's not realistic, though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just depends how they played during that time. How well did he play? I mean, if Tua stays healthy, we win a playoff game, they're gonna move on the next year. It's not a matter if they win one playoff game with Tua and McDaniel, we're going to see Tua in 2026.
Now I believe that's what's going to happen, but he asked what he needs to do for us to be satisfied, and I'm only satisfied with the AFC Championship appearance.
No, I'll be satisfied with one playoff win with this team.
Yeah, first year I would have been satisfied with that. Not after your third year. This season 4. This year 4.
Has Mike McDaniel done more good for the Dolphins in his tenure as the head coach, or more bad in y'all's opinion?
I think it's 50-50. I think he's been good at getting the most out of the offense and getting the most out of Tua, and I think he's been bad with everything else that comes with coaching. And I'm sorry. I on the playing field that I have, they're evil. It's equal. It's like I'm fighting.
He actually been more bad than people realize overall for what it takes.
Yeah,
you don't win any big games, bro. Any. You don't win any big games.
The one that they consider was big games wasn't good enough.
And the Cowboys game is the only one. And come on, we know what happened. They killed themselves.
They would say the Ravens and the Buffalo game as well, but I don't consider those big games. To me, I don't consider those big games, especially at the beginning of the season. At the beginning of the season, you have so much more opportunities to overcome a bad start. Like Joe Burrow started 1-3. 1-2 every season. Every season he started 1-2. So the pressure is not on you at the beginning of the season to win them games. It's nice that he pulled it off, right? It's cool. But we know when the pressure rises, that is when your true self come out. And that's the one toward the end of the season. And you can't give me one toward the end of the season.
You remember the game this past season, week 9 in Buffalo, where Tua was 25 for 28. I believe he was 263, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. We lost 28-25. You remember that game, Tone and TD?
Which one? 2022 or last year?
No, this past season that just passed, week 9, where Tua was
with Jordan Poyer costing with the
when Jordan Poyer hit the late hit, they kicked the 62-yard field goal to beat us. You remember that game? Yeah. Now, Tone, 3 weeks ago we had a big debate on Twitter, took it to YouTube. There was all kind of confusion
about that pass.
Now the Dolphins lost by 3, right? 28-25 on the last play. They were down in the third quarter, I believe, with 4 minutes to go, they were down 12-10, or it was right before. No, it was the third quarter, Tone, or right before halftime.
Third quarter.
Okay,
right.
it was already in the third quarter. The game was 12-10 against the Buffalo Bills, right? Now, this is where, for me, I'm willing to give Mike McDaniel a pass, because what I'm hearing is Mike McDaniel's record in those big games. I wish, TD, I'm going to clip that play up to you, and I'm going to send it to you.
I got it right now if you want me to send it to him.
Tyreek Hill was streaking down the sideline. He was open by 15 yards. There wasn't a defender 15 yards in sight. Tua throws a ball. It was a dead duck leaning where Tyreek had he was running a go route, TD. He caught the ball like he was like he was returning a punt.
Yeah.
He had to turn completely around, stand flat-footed, and be looking at the quarterback, right? Now, the Dolphins lost that game by 3. If Tua makes one single pass in that game, the Dolphins win. Does that change Mike McDaniel's record? Yes,
about
it does.
one game, though. But
that's the point, Tone, right there, right? Because what we'll do in this fan base is when we talk about the offensive line, we'll highlight the 4 or 5 plays where Liam Eichenberg gets demolished, right? He has 4 horrible plays. The problem is, Tone and TD, there's 60 offensive plays in the game, so why don't we talk about the other 55? We only highlight the 4. And what I'm saying is, for everybody that believes Mike McDaniel is this bad guy, he can't coach, he can't do this, well, where are those same people when they're putting up 70 points against the Denver Broncos? Because in those games, he's a genius. But you know why that is? Because the players in between the white lines, they're executing. Remember when he put up 30-0 against the Jets and the Jets got a top 5 defense? Was he a genius in that game? No, the players executed. When he put up 45 against the Commanders, was he a genius in that game? No, the players executed. It's only when they don't execute, Tua fails, it's a fumble, it's a drop pass, it's a missed tackle, it's whatever. Now Mike McDaniel can't coach. No. If the players execute and we give the players all the credit, oh my God, Tua had a great game. He threw for 300. Okay, cool. I don't hear nothing about the coaching when we're winning. I only hear about the coaching when we're losing. And it was the same argument with Brian Flores, and now we're doing it with Mike McDaniel. At some point, all I'm saying is the onus has to be on these players, right? It just seems like at every turn, when it's bad, oh, it's coaching. When it's good, it's players. No, for me, I'm taking the standpoint, it's always players. When it's good, it's players. When it's bad, it's players. And I'm sorry, I'm willing to take the chance on Mike McDaniel. In my opinion, I think he's done more good than bad. Now, is he perfect? Absolutely not. He has to get better. But, bro, he's 3 years in.
Yeah.
It's not like he's been coaching for 15, 20 years. Right? Like, TD, look at your channel. 7 years in, right? When you first started, I'm sure you made mistakes. Right? I'm sure there was some hiccups here and there. But as time went on and stability happened, you got better and better and better. And look where you are now. The Dolphins, as our fan base, all we talk about is we want stability. We want this. We want a culture. Well, how can you create a culture in 2.5 years, 3 years? Where do they do that at? Because if you look at the Ravens, we know that culture is set. But they also have a coach that's been there for 18 years. The Pittsburgh Steelers has a coach for 19 years. In our division, the greatest dynasty this league has ever seen, they had Belichick for over 20-plus years. But every 2.5, 3 years here in Miami, we want to get the coach because the coach ain't giving us the ultimate success. Well, let them build something. Is all I'm saying. You can't have stability if every 2 years you're changing everything. It's offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, head coach, this, that, and the third. There's no stability. That's why it just seems like this team, it's always, well, we have some pieces here, but now next year, those pieces really don't match because we brought in this guy, and then that guy brings in this guy, and then next year he's gone, but that guy's still here, and it never matches, right? It's like having peanut butter and jelly, but no bread, right? No, if you got the peanut butter, and now you got in the jelly, keep the bread around and see what happens is all I'm saying. Right? I don't understand, man. It's just for me, again, I'm willing to take the chance. Now, if people want to be like Tone and others, and you'll never get over the fact that he vouched for Tua, hey, man, I'm locked in with arms in arms. I love my Dolphin community. I'm going to ride with y'all. I just don't see it that way, though. I want to get away from some of the bad apples, especially Tua Tagovailoa. But no, I'm willing to stick this thing out with Mike McDaniel. I'm sorry.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to everybody sending super chats. Let me go through them real quick.
Being a Mike McDaniel is crazy. I ain't gonna lie.
And y'all make sure y'all give a big ups to the Blix pickup. Y'all can get this type of conversation every time with these fellas, man. Amazing stuff. Richie Fresh share, yo, TD. Just want to drop by and show some love. Keep it up. That's what's up, man. Night Wolf said Tony does make an excellent point. Even if Tua wasn't our QB with the defense, we know we're gonna have the big time games will have to be shootouts. So true. Shake Money going on 4 years.
Shake Money, let's go.
One more month. Jason M said McDaniel record against. Oh, we read that pretty much. Let's see here. A Burgos in the building. All about the U. This
That's
team will solely rely on the offensive line because Tua cannot win big games. And running the ball is part of our scheme. All facts. We got KM in the house. Said TD, go Bills. I feel bad you have to put this squad against the Bills. Excited for the rebuild. All love, ready for the season already. You hater. You a hater, KM. We're gonna beat y'all. We're probably gonna sweep y'all. All right. They need to stop Breeze comparison. Breeze balled at Purdue. Team wasn't stacked. Played in New Orleans with 0 Hall of Famers at tight end, running back, wide receiver. That ain't Tua. Tough. Mike Best said, hey, TD, what year were Manning and Breeze first playoff win? Year 7, correct? No, Drew Brees won his first one in year 5 that he played. It was
year 6,
season, but year 1 he didn't play.
Yeah, he didn't.
So he won it in year 5.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And also, they also had big game wins before they won a playoff game. It just had to translate to the playoffs. But they have shown the capability of beating those teams. Everybody leave that part out. But go ahead.
Exactly. So he's had big games and played well in them. And he won a division in year 3.
He did. They went 12-4.
Yeah. So sorry. You are crazy. Tua coming off a 2023 season. There is no way he was playing another season without a contract. If I am good agent, he's not playing. Hey, I get that. Cool. You're right, but franchise tag him. It is what it is.
That's a fact. Baltimore did the same thing with the Ravens, and Lamar Jackson had an MVP. Stop.
Yeah, and franchise tagged him twice. So listen, if you can make Lamar wait, they should have made Tua wait. Just my thoughts. Jason said, I don't know a single head coach who has kept their job after winning without winning a playoff game after several years. Why is this confusing? The standard is the win. F the excuses. Win playoff games or it isn't enough. Jason, I rock with you.
I like Jason. Yeah, I would say Jason. He don't want no excuses.
Exactly, but it's the reality, man. It's crazy. Besides Buffalo,
Mike Tomlin hasn't won a playoff game in 9 seasons, but I'm gonna leave that alone.
Yeah. But you know what? You know what? Did he get one? Did he get one, Lou?
He got a ring.
Yeah. He got one with Bill Cowher's quarterback. He got one.
I'm fine with that too, but all I'm saying is that at least holds you down for about 10 years.
Look, he got one of these. Mike McDaniel can do it with Brian Flores quarterback.
It holds you down for a decade.
It does, but yeah, because look, they've been talking about moving on for Tomlin in the last 2 years, so it holds you down for about 7 to 10 years.
And that the way that they franchise run, they don't fire coaches. They don't.
Right, but if Steeler fans were like Dolphin fans, Mike Tomlin would have lasted 2.5 years, and he would have been up at
that's
it.
cap. What year did he get a Super Bowl?
You're allowed to be trashed for the next 10 years.
He earned that grace, man.
What year did he win the Super Bowl? What year was that for Mike Tomlin?
Probably a second or third.
Oh yeah, remember. Probably. I don't like when I hear probably before the answer.
Well, we not Pittsburgh Steelers fans, so we don't know the history. I can tell you what year Mike McDaniel got here.
What big games have they had home against winning teams? Tua has a 36 winning percentage against good teams on the road. Good teams win only 38% on the road.
Second season,
huh?
No, I'll tell you, it was his second season.
Well, Glenn Tua has a 36% winning percentage against good teams on the road. Good teams win only 38% on the road. Hey, I get all that, Glenn, but here's the problem. Them other good teams with good quarterbacks, they don't put their team in a position to be on the road as much in them big games. Especially, and obviously, I mean the playoffs. They don't put themselves in position. And that's where it matters most. How you execute in the playoffs. Maybe execution is related to coaching. Hello. Hey, man, this Jason. Jason gets it, man. This was a great conversation. I totally disagree with some perspectives, but everyone is cool and respectful, and it makes for great debate. Appreciate it.
You, Jason.
Salute to you, Jason.
Absolutely.
Thanks, he also said, Super Bowl win would hold me down for life and let me die happy. And it would for all you too. Don't lie.
It's a fact. I saw one, man. I witnessed one.
Yeah, Dolphin fans, most of us just want to see one. That's it. In our lifetime, just see one, man. Man, any final words you got for us, Lou? We got to get up out of here, man.
Well, TD, my final words is just going to be a real quick question to you specifically, right?
Uh-huh.
Are you one of these fake Florida Panther fans running around here pretending that you were a Panther fan for all these years, TD?
No, not at all. If somebody asked me if I would root for them, I would root for them because I'm from the crib. But I'm not a Panthers fan. I don't even know one player name on the team. Same thing with the Miami Marlins. Since I don't have a baseball team, I'll root for them, but I don't know the single player on the team. The Heat, I'm not even a fan of the Heat. I don't even like the Heat. But Dolphins all day. But no, I ain't no fake one. I'm a Celtics fan, Dolphins fan. Outside of that, it's fair game in all sports.
Well, TD, just so you know, TD, your new friend Tony over here been a long time.
Yeah, bandwagon.
Yeah, he been a long time 3-year Panther fan for 3 years, man.
I don't mean to cut it off, but the wife calling me now. Y'all gonna get me in trouble.
Listen, TD, I appreciate
man.
you for always showing love and always supporting our channel, and that's why we always support over here, my brother.
Same, man. Y'all go check out the Blitz pickup. Last super chat, Jesse with the 20 bone. Jess in the house says, shout out to my co-hosts and TD.
Shout out Jess in the building. Yes.
Oh man. Yeah, man. Y'all gotta have me back over soon, man.
We got you. I DM you.
All right. Love y'all, man. Y'all take care. Y'all have a great night. Everybody watching. Thank y'all for tuning in. We are out again. Go check out the Blitz pickup. Y'all go subscribe right now. All right. Shout out to Glenn with the last super chat. Said I actually have my Super Bowl win and I not happy. Speak for yourself, Glenn. Let me decide when we get ours. How about that? All right, y'all, I got to go. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Fins up no matter what. Peace. We are out.